It's the Post Pod Show.
Yeah, just keep it going.
Yeah, I do still crave Cocoa Krispies.
The Cocoa Krispies are good.
They're
That
probably
chocolate is
still
good.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they're probably not too sweet. Apple Jacks occasionally, like a small bowl, some really cold skim milk. I
Yeah,
can get down.
versus Fruit Loops, which to me are now too sweet.
much.
My
Gross.
general point is they are everything now is just way too sweet from
100%.
And
Do you
I
think
never
they've changed the formula, the formula of it?
well, let's
Or
just
do you
put it
think
this
it's
way.
us?
Don't you
I think
love
it's
how
us.
I think we've changed. Our taste buds have changed, and we don't eat that much sugar anymore. That's
Yeah.
part of it. And back then, I don't know if you remember this. I think, and here's the one that I can't have. It used to be called, and I'm going way back. This is definitely maybe even before your time. It used to be called Super Sugar Crisp before they made it Super Golden Crisp. Remember, like that was like one of the post cereals, and they literally put sugar in the name, the Super Sugar Crisp, and this thing was just loaded up there. Have you had Honey Nut Cheerios recently?
Yeah, they're great. They're actually not bad.
That's the one where I think
It's the perfect level.
Anything sweeter than Honey Nut Cheerios, I can't do. I get
100%.
It's just too much.
I'm in agreement with you on this. I think that's a good one. I will say that I can still get down with, and I feel like the really sweet cereals, I can do like a small cup of them. I can't do like a bowl of it like I used to, but like Golden Grams and Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I can still get down with a little bit of it. Okay. I can't go full tilt on it, but I could get a little bit of the sweet cereal. I put it up there again with Apple Jacks, which I think are phenomenal.
The sugar cereal rating.
Small bowls of it.
We would like to state to the listeners here that this is not a recommendation of the cereals that you should offer your children or anyone because of the sugar quantities that are inside these things.
Please do not consume said cereals.
So we have another episode to do here. We just do this, roll into it. What do we got?
Yeah, we're going to roll into it. Why don't we talk about the interference penalty, which is poor audio quality from guests. I don't know about you, but my voice is a luscious cornucopia of love.
Wow. I just got turned on.
It's good. But here was what I was going to say. I know in my emails prior to someone appearing on my illustrious podcast, I say, hey, you should probably have a microphone and some headphones. Real straightforward. I don't want no echoes. And I'd love to hear your voice in its purest, silkiest, most smooth form. I say that. And then occasionally you get people show up and they're on their MacBook microphone. And I'm like, nah, yo, that's not it.
So I think we've gotten to the point that people have now know that the microphone, we can, I don't like to do this, but we can thank COVID for a lot of the virtual learning and working at home environments that people needed to up their computer games. And those that were doing podcasts, a lot of people who knew that they were going to be a guest on one, invest in microphones. So the microphone industry, I don't even want to know what the sales have been, but have definitely gone through the roof.
Yeah, Big Microphone has sponsored this episode.
As I point behind me, I mean, I've retired my Blue Yeti, but the Blue Yeti must have run out of stock at some point or another.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, great that they got the microphone. But the audio quality thing to me is not just headphones. They have to be wired headphones. And I've learned this enough. Most people have, if they're an iPhone owner, they have the earbuds.
Yep.
And those puppies are Bluetooth. And here's the problem with these things. One, they're battery charged and there's a limited power with it. Two, whether you know it or not, there is interference from the Bluetooth connectivity between the AirPods and the sound and the quality. And I hate the people who don't have the microphone and they're using the microphone from the earbuds. No bueno at all. No. It's just a whole echoey chamber. And we've become audiophiles, whether we like to know it or not, when you run a podcast, because we're constantly looking for.
Can't really help it. You live in headphones.
And I've had guests who've had better sound than myself that come in with these radio-like studio quality places. I'm like, this is amazing. But when they don't have the headphones and the sound, my voice or your voice or the host voice, whoever it is coming through the computer and it's sucking right back into that massive microphone that they have, you've got that speaker, phone, delay. That happens, and it absolutely drives me bananas. And the worst part is you get a lot of stuff cut off because a really good conversation, there's overlap, there's laughing, there's funny stuff that you miss. So that's why I put in my thing, I want wired headphones in here, and I've got ones that go behind that. And I swear I should get a commission fee from Sennheiser for the amount of times I've offered people to sell the ones that I use, which go in my ears and are very nice and very comfortable.
They are really nice, and also they're very low profile. Just want to
for us
look at
follically challenged
these
guys,
monsters.
My issue with the headphones, and a lot of people, and I'll give this like to women that come on podcast programs, and they're like, oh my God, I want to get headphones. And the wired headphones they think are the ones that Jeff is wearing. And if you're listening to this, he's got the ones that go over the ears and cover your ears, and they're awesome, by the way. Those are like gaming headphones.
They're very nice.
Yes. After a while, they heat up your ears. And to people who have hair or trying to look good or trying to present themselves well, you feel like you're in a radio studio. Ever. Yeah. No, I don't have hair. So that's why I offer these, because these are non-invasive, and you feel like you're on a TV studio set where they're putting like that really cool speaker or mic on themselves. Yeah. I feel that. So that's the thing. I just want people to be comfortable, but I want them to sound and be spectacular.
If you were to rank, I'll give you these 3 elements, and you rank which is the most important for you in order of guests being prepared with: microphone, headphones, internet connection.
Oh, okay. Well, so I would. So in my the reality, the internet connection is all right. Because
I know, you see how I threw you the curveball there?
Yeah, you threw the curveball. So
because you could have the best mic, the best headphones, and you have that thing happen where like the voice catches up and it all happens at once. You have that.
Yes.
Oh, it's the worst. They sound like the chipmunks.
Or the video stalls and it delays, and then the queuing and the streaming just runs through.
Well, then there's also that awkwardness where you're like, are you there? Are you there? I don't know if you're there. Did I lose you? Are you there? And then they come back and they're like, and they're continuing. And you're like, I lost 3 minutes of you. I have no idea where you went. Can you go back 3 minutes in your mind and say everything that you just said?
We have to isolate that sound bit of you doing the. That's just amazing. So in that order, I would have to say internet, headphones, microphone. In that good quality internet connection, and that's why we don't like people like mobily running around when they're doing an interview. I mean, I've had that, people in a car saying, "Oh, can we do this here?" Most people now know that when they hear themselves back, if they've ever done it once and they've been in a place where they have terrible internet, and then they get to hear themselves. I've gotten the phone call. They're like, "Can we redo the entire interview?" Like I've gotten that. I've gotten like after we've aired and dropped it, of course, because I just heard myself. I had no idea that being in the New York City subway system was going to affect the reception that you would have for the episode.
The accordion player on the A train interrupted my interview. That's amazing. I never would have thought.
I'd say the next thing I have a 4th factor in there, and that is the 4th one is they're surrounding the room that they're in. A lot of times, that was very critical.
It was good. I got lots of those. You're ready for it.
The room you're in, and a lot of times, and I would say this in many of the people who we've had chances to interview, if you're dealing with some pretty, let's just put them at well-off individuals who are in their very nice house and they're in a lofty area or in this very big McMansion-y like place.
Yeah.
And high ceilings, and you could see great light. Everything looked good, except for the fact that the sound is bouncing off this entire open
You sound
space.
like you're in the middle of Carnegie Hall.
Totally.
In an empty Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
And it's just terrible.
It's like now batting, many, mota.
Oh God, that's from a movie. There's like a scene where they now batting. It's airplane. That's what it is. Yeah, I was like,
when in doubt with me, it's that. Or Spaceballs. One of the two.
Phenomenal. It's phenomenal. No, I think that to myself sometimes too. I'm like, you appear to be a millionaire, but you have not invested in any sound panels for this moment. Remarkable, because I'm in my living room and I have them, and I am not a millionaire.
But that's the order. Yes. You're right. The solid internet connection is very important. Next comes, for me, the headphones, because it's breaking out the sound that they have. Because I've seen people without the microphones and they just had the headphones, and it actually can work as long as you're splitting that.
Yeah.
Bifurcating the audio and the what the input and the output of where the speaker is versus your
the room is a really good call out though, because I think you can have a great microphone and you can have great headphones, but if you're in a tinty enough, echoey enough room, it can actually ruin the whole thing. So it's one of the things, a piece of advice that other podcasters have given to me is that you should listen back to your own show so that you can kind of better understand and this. I hate listening to my own stuff, but it has really helped me to understand like when it's time to upgrade my equipment or, different things to think about. And, I didn't think that background noise would get picked up, but it did. And that's my child crying in the background. So like you kind of get a better sense of things. And I think a lot of people who go on and are podcast guests would be shocked to know that for a few $100, they could actually have dramatically better audio quality.
Oh, And it's that's the one thing that is great about a podcast is that you do not need this highfalutin type of thing. You just need something that's reasonable that you can actually make yourself sound good and won't cost you that much money.
Can I tell you my amazing hack that I used to do back in the day? Back in the DZ, this is before I even upgraded to the Blue Yeti. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Blue Snowball. We're talking my first Fisher-Price microphone, right?
I think that was the one we used to offer to guests, like in our link. We would say,
like it's $50. It's like, send it to whatever. You're on my show, take a $50 microphone. So reasonably good microphone, actually. And what I did was, if you ever go to IKEA, you know, they have that cube storage thing, used to be called the Expedit, now called the Calyx, and you see it everywhere. And
I haven't been there in a while, but I take your word for it.
But you know what I'm talking about. It's the cube. Everybody has it.
Yeah.
It's got the squares.
Yeah.
There's a bin that you put in there that you can buy that's collapsible, but it's a fabric bin. So what I had was one of those black bins, and I had soundproofing panels in it, and I wired through the back of it so that essentially my Blue Snowball mic was in the middle of this box with soundproofing around it, and I would speak directly into the box. So I don't know, it didn't matter what room I was in, the sound was contained in that little area.
I had a guest do an entire interview in her closet. And her closet was the best sound they've ever seen. And if you think about it, listeners, if you have
clothes everywhere, it's absorbing everything.
Are just absorbing everything. And it was really good sound. And obviously part of it was she was blocking out the sound that was going on from whatever distractions were going on in her house. Yep. But she goes, how's the sound quality? And the sound quality is amazing. The only issue was the video was a little bit, revealing just because of all the different stuff in her
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Another good location for better audio quality, another counterintuitive sort of one. You wouldn't think like, oh, closet. The other one, in your car. If you are in your garage, maybe don't turn the car on. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yep, your car is actually a really well orchestrated, unless you have a baby crying. It's really good for sound. So if you ever need to like record a voiceover or whatever, if you jump into your car, if you don't have a lot of outside noise, it can actually be and certain cars can actually block out some of the outside noise, but it's actually a really great place to record like voiceover and audio. Again, not great for video unless you're doing like TikToks or Instagram Reels.
There's so many of those where people are in their car and
driving.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. Listeners, viewers out there, look, I get it. You're trying to show yourself moving in here. I'm pretty sure that they don't show television through that little screen now, unless you really rejigger the thing intentionally so your eyes kind of stay on the road. We're bad enough that I look at the GPS system anytime I'm driving and I'm not really looking at the road. I'm doing this a lot. But to be filming yourself or trying to capture yourself, come on.
I have a different take on it. I think it's just rude that they don't give us their full attention. Now, why are you looking at the road when you should be you're making content? Don't undermine the quality of our experience of that TikTok by focusing on the road as you drive. That's just disrespectful.
This is why we have this counterpoint on most of our shows. We need you listeners to understand all the different views that go on in the minds of podcasters, whatever.
We still respect the fairness doctrine here on the Post Pod Show.
This is what this is about. I totally agree. And by the way, I still think though, but the people who are driving, listen, just pull over. Just give you 2 minutes. Like I've actually had Zoom calls where people are like, and my favorite one is, the best one is like you have the whole team is on there. It's a mobile sales force or whatever it is. And this doesn't do a podcast. This is just for anyone that's doing virtual communication. They'll have their phone down in the console, cup holder. And there'd be this weird angle where maybe you see a shoulder, and why they still have the camera on.
Just turn off the video. It doesn't make any sense to me. I've had to take calls from the car on Zoom, but I turn off the video. You don't need to see me driving to know that I'm an active participant. You can hear the other cars on the road to know that.
I'd actually like to state that listeners, instead of not focusing on the road, and we should keep the more thing on the podcast, you should be listening to the Post Pod Show while you're driving only. That's the one you should go to. That's where you should get it. This is where you should learn, specifically your podcasters out there who need a lot of help in understanding how you can be better at this job.
It's true. You don't have to have bad audio quality. You can have great audio quality by not recording audio and by listening to the Post Pod Show. I've been Jeff Gibbard, and you've been
Lou Diamond.
Lou, that's right. And this has been
It's the Post Pod Show.